Hello everybody and welcome to this chess video on a game of chess that I played at the Palma Chess Club about a month ago. My name is Mark. And the Palma Chess Club is located in La Palma, California, which is Southern California, about a few miles away from Knott's Berry Farm. So without further ado, let's go into the game. I was the black pieces, my opponent was the white pieces. So my opponent starts out white to e4, I play pawn to e5, white plays knight to f3, and I go pawn to d5. This opening is called the Elephant Gambit. I like to play this opening. It throws a lot of people off, and if white plays the best moves, then black does get a bad position, but I found that a lot of people don't play the best moves, and so I like to play this opening a lot. So anyways, my opponent plays here, and I push the pawn. My opponent makes a good move. It pins the pawn, develops a queen. I play out here, and then here in this position, my opponent should play here, because if I continue my development like that, my opponent can take there, and if I'm castled, then I'm down 2 pawns, and he's got a big pawn center. So this is bad, but my opponent doesn't do that. He plays the lesser move, and so now I can continue my development. He takes, and then I castle. And now if you look at the position, even though I'm down 2 pawns, I'm very far ahead in development. My opponent, how's he going to castle? If he wants to castle kingside, he has to move his queen out the way and his bishop somewhere. If he wants to castle queenside, he has to move the pawn, the bishop, and he's also got this pawn out in no man's land. So I'm always happy to get this position out of the opening from the Elephant Gambit or any opening like this. So my opponent does play here, and I play here, veiling some threats against his queen. So my opponent makes a logical move and puts his bishop there, which develops his bishop, and it also kind of covers up his queen a little bit. And so I take this pawn, which now puts the knight on the bishop, which is not really a big deal. And so my opponent castle like that, and then I play here. I thought I was going to win a piece when I played there, because I expected he was going to move his knight there, and then I was going to push a pawn there, and then he'd have to move his bishop somewhere, and then I get to win a piece, right? But that didn't happen, and my opponent made a very resourceful move. And this was a pretty good move because, number one, I can't take him because then he takes back and he's on the knight, and I can't move the knight because the rook's on the queen. And so I thought, okay, fine. I'll tell you what I'll do. Sorry about that. I will take this guy first, and then he takes here. And I thought on this move for about 10 minutes, and I realized that it's still not safe to take the knight, even though I'm up a piece, because watch what happens. He takes there, or I take there, he takes there, and now it's my move, and I have to block like that or something. And now he checks me, and now what am I going to do? If I come here, he can check me like this, and this is looking really bad, because if I go there and he comes there, right, that's really bad for me. And if I go this way, then he can come here, and now he's threatening this. And so I didn't want to get into any of this, and so I decided that it is not safe to take that knight. So instead I choose to bring my bishop there, and I thought it was a pretty good move because no more of this bishop check stuff. But my opponent made another resourceful move, and he went there. So now if I go there, he takes this guy with the check. So my opponent is playing very well here. And so I realized that I'm not going to win the piece, and so I decided just to move here because it gets my queen off this line, and it also guards this bishop. And so now my opponent comes here. My opponent comes here like that, and so now he's got 2 pieces on my bishop, and so I have to guard my bishop somehow. And so the move that I choose to do, hold on for a minute. Oh yes, is I take his pawn, and normally that's a bad move because the bishop gets trapped, but if he does that, I've got this move, right, and he's got to move his king, and he loses his queen. So I think my opponent missed that move. So I went there, and so my opponent made a very logical move, and he went there, so now he's got 2 pieces on the bishop, and so I have to guard him, right, and so I choose to go there with the knight, and so now we're basically out of the opening and we're entering into the middle game. My queen is not developed, but all my other pieces are developed. Pawn material are even. His king is a little bit restricted, and so the position is fairly even. And so he comes here threatening this guy, and I think I should have played the safe move like that, but I tried to get fancy, and so I went there, and and if he would have took him, I could have took there with a check and then maybe got his knight like that or something. But my opponent plays here, and definitely I should have played here now because there's some trouble here. And I'll show you what happens here. This was my move, and this was a bad move, and had he would have seen it, he could have won some material here. So pause the video, see if you can find the good move for white. Okay, did you pause the video? If you did, maybe you saw this move. Now, if I take here like that, right, his queen can't move, right, and it looks good, but one problem, this check, right, and so I have to get out of check, and so if I take, then he gets my bishop. But luckily for me, my opponent didn't see that, and my opponent instead got scared, and he went like that. So now I trade down like that, trades like that, and now we are now totally out of the opening. We're in a middle game, and I feel I have a good position because I have two bishops pair, and also his king is a little bit more exposed than my king. So I'm happy that I got a good position out of this. So now my opponent plays here, and I feel this is a bad move because I think it's the wrong plan. He's obviously moving his rook there because he wants to try to break through there, but why do that? This is a wall here. Why not instead, let's go back, why not try to just double up like that, and if he did that, why not just try to double up and maybe try to get this territory over here. So I think he came up with the wrong plan here. And so he came there, and so after that move, now I start to get some piece activity. I play here, and then he plays here, and I realize that he's going to come here. And so that's a threat, and so I drop my bishop back, and then like that, and then sure enough, he pushes like that. And I just feel this is the totally wrong plan for him to do. So I bring my bishop here like that, attack his queen like that, and now I take his pawn, okay, and he takes with the bishop. Now if you look at this position, he's got very bad pawn structure, so if I can trade down to an ending and get rid of his pieces, so keep him from trying to break through like that, then I feel I'll have a winning endgame because I have two bishops, and bishops are very good pieces to have. They're mobile, they're long range pieces in wide open positions like this. So I feel he came up with the wrong plan, so I came here just hoping to trade down, and then he made a bad move. And that's a very bad move because I played here, and now he's in a lot of trouble because my next move is going to come here, and he really has no good way to defend that. So my opponent comes here, and now I make what I consider to be the game-winning move. So pause the video, see if you can find the game-winning move. Okay, the good move that I made is this. And there's really no good way to defend this because if he comes here, I can crash through like that. He takes back like that, and then it's checkmate or Rinsky. So that's not going to work. And so he has no way to defend this. And so he just starts throwing pieces to the wind like that. And he plays there, and then he goes there, and then I just take his piece. And I'll just run through the moves very quickly just so you can see what happened, but there's really no point to even continue after this. So after that, he comes here, and I take like this, and after that, he moves his king over like this because he doesn't want to get forked, and then after that, I still go here, and his queen is still trapped. So he takes here, like that, and I take with the pawn, and he takes here. I'm sorry, he takes here like this, and I go there, and he takes there. So he's now down 2 pieces, and so I come up here like this, and he drops his bishop back like this, and I come here like this, and he came here like that, and then he ran out of time and he lost on time. But my next move was like this, and I was going to be the one to trade down, and so he would have gone there, and then, you know, the position's hopeless. So anyways, that was my game. That's the Elephant Gambit. I hope you enjoyed the game. And one of the takeaways you can take from this is that there's nothing wrong with playing shady openings, as long as you know your openings, and you know, it's been proven that you get good positions out of the opening. But I can tell you that with best play, that white will get the better position, and I'll show you the position here. Just going to show you with best play, in my experience, like this would be like that. That would be the best move to make, because now I would have to take like that, and so white can come up here and develop with a threat. And so I would come like this, and then like this, take, and then castle, and then now white would not want to do that because of this, and it'd be on the queen, but that would not be the thing to do. So now maybe, I don't know, white could save his pawn like that. But the problem with this kind of position is that, you know, my queen is developed too early, and the pawns are even, but I just feel it's a good position for white, mainly because my queen is developed too early, and then if he could take like this even. Anyways, so that was my game. I hope you enjoyed the video, and with that, I bid you farewell, and over and out.